Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has sought a singular truth hidden beneath the surface of all success, all wealth, all abundance. Kings consulted oracles, merchants studied the stars, philosophers debated the nature of prosperity itself. Yet most died never grasping what lay before them, invisible yet omnipresent, governing every transaction, every fortune gained or lost. What they failed to understand was not a secret of economics or strategy, but a fundamental law of the universe itself. There exists a principle so profound, so transformative, that once comprehended, scarcity becomes impossible, not difficult, impossible. This is not mysticism. This is not wishful thinking. This is a mechanical law as reliable as gravity, as predictable as the rising sun. And yet, 99% of humanity lives in direct violation of it, wondering why wealth perpetually evades them. The architect of this understanding was not an economist, not a businessman. Wallace D. Wattles, a man who lived in poverty for decades, discovered what the wealthy knew instinctively but could never articulate. In 1910, he codified this knowledge into a slim volume that would influence titans of industry, thought leaders, and those rare individuals who seem to attract money effortlessly. What he revealed was simple, yet so contrary to everything we've been taught, that most reject it immediately. We have been conditioned to believe that wealth comes through struggle, through competition, through taking from a limited supply, through sacrifice and grinding labor. This conditioning is the very mechanism that ensures poverty. It is the invisible chain that binds humanity to lack generation after generation. What you are about to learn will shatter this illusion completely. Over the next journey, we will dismantle every false belief about money you have ever held. We will expose the lie that has kept you working harder for less. We will reveal why your very effort may be repelling the abundance seeking you. And most critically, we will provide you with a precise formula, a method of operating that aligns you with the creative force of the universe itself. This is not theory. This is operational knowledge, the kind that, once applied, makes poverty a logical impossibility. But I must warn you, this knowledge demands something of you. It requires that you abandon the competitive mindset that society has drilled into your consciousness. It requires faith not in the religious sense, but in the scientific sense, faith as a mental technology. It requires that you see yourself and the universe in an entirely new light. Most will hear these words and return to their old patterns, to the comfort of familiar struggle. If you are among the few who can truly absorb what follows, your relationship with money will never be the same. Throughout human history, civilizations have constructed elaborate theories about wealth. The mercantilists believed it came from hoarding gold. The capitalists believed it came from capital accumulation. The socialists believed it came from labor. All were fragments of truth, but none grasped the fundamental mechanism. They were observing effects while remaining blind to cause. Wattles understood what they did not. Wealth is not a thing to be pursued, competed for, or extracted. Wealth is a response. It is the universe's answer to a specific mental state, a particular way of thinking and acting. The wealthy do not work harder than the poor. They do not sacrifice more. They do not possess secret information unavailable to others. What they possess, consciously or unconsciously, is alignment with a law that governs the manifestation of all things. This law operates whether you believe in it or not, just as gravity operates on the atheist and the believer alike. Your skepticism does not suspend its function. Your poverty does not disprove its existence. It merely demonstrates your current position relative to its principles, and that position can be changed, not through years of study, but through immediate application of what you are about to learn. The first and most liberating truth you must grasp is this: there is a thinking substance from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. This is not metaphor. Quantum physics now confirms what Wattles intuited over a century ago. At the fundamental level, reality is not solid matter, but possibility itself, waiting to be collapsed into form through conscious observation and intention. Every building you see, every fortune accumulated, every object in existence was once formless potential. It existed first as thought in someone's mind, then manifested into physical reality through a precise sequence of mental and physical actions. This process is not random, it is lawful, it is repeatable, it is the very mechanism by which the universe operates, and it is available to you in this very moment. But here is where humanity falls into the trap. We observe scarcity. We see limited resources. We watch others compete for what appears to be a finite supply of wealth, opportunity, and success. From this observation, we conclude that we must fight, must struggle, must take from others what we need. This conclusion is the source of all poverty. The truth is precisely the opposite. The supply is infinite. The formless substance from which all things are made is inexhaustible. There is no competition for wealth because wealth is not a fixed quantity to be divided among competitors. Wealth is created continuously, endlessly, by those who understand how to impress their will upon thinking substance. The poor see a pie with limited slices. The wealthy understand that new pies appear in direct proportion to conscious demand. Consider the fortunes built in the past century alone. Rockefeller did not take his wealth from others. He created supply where none existed, organizing industries that multiplied abundance. Ford did not steal money from horse carriage makers. He manifested new value by reducing the cost and increasing the availability of transportation. Gates did not plunder wealth from typewriter manufacturers. He collapsed possibility into form by envisioning software on every desk. Each of these men, whether they could articulate it or not, operated according to the same law. They held a definite vision. They impressed that vision upon formless substance through unwavering faith. They acted in physical reality in ways that harmonized with their mental image, and reality reorganized itself to accommodate their vision. This is not magic. This is not luck. This is cause and effect, mental cause, physical effect, and it is available to anyone willing to abandon the competitive mindset and embrace the creative one. The competitive mind says, "There is only so much, and I must get mine before others take it." The creative mind says, "I will call into existence what I desire, adding to the total supply of the universe." One mindset produces anxiety, scarcity, and struggle. The other produces certainty, abundance, and effortless attraction. One repels supply through its very vibration of lack. The other magnetizes supply through its vibration of certainty and gratitude. The difference between poverty and wealth is not found in your circumstances, your education, your connections, or your current bank account. It is found exclusively in which of these two minds you operate from. Now we arrive at a crucial point that most will resist. Your labor, your effort, your struggle, these things do not create wealth. They can earn wages, they can trade time for money, but they cannot and will never create true abundance. This is the lie that keeps the masses enslaved to mediocrity. Work hard, save money, climb the ladder. This advice is not wrong because it lacks virtue. It is wrong because it violates the fundamental law of wealth creation. Wealth comes not from doing more, but from thinking correctly, not from working harder, but from aligning mentally with the creative force of the universe. The manual laborer who breaks his back for 40 years remains poor not because he is lazy, but because he operates from the competitive mind. He sees himself as trading his finite energy for finite wages in a finite system. This is the consciousness of scarcity, and scarcity must be its result. Meanwhile, the entrepreneur who holds a clear vision and takes inspired action can generate more wealth in a single year than the laborer will see in a lifetime. Not because the entrepreneur is more deserving, not because the system is rigged, but because the entrepreneur, consciously or not, is operating in harmony with the law of wealth creation. He is impressing his definite desire upon thinking substance and allowing that substance to materialize his vision through him. This is the critical distinction that most never grasp. You do not create wealth through effort alone. You create wealth by becoming a conduit through which formless substance materializes into form. Your role is not to force reality into compliance through sheer will. Your role is to hold the vision so clearly with such unwavering faith that reality has no choice but to reorganize itself accordingly. But this process has been corrupted by the modern world. We have been taught to set goals, to hustle, to grind, to push against resistance. All of this is the language of competition, of struggle, of forcing. And what does force create? Resistance. What does struggle attract? More struggle. The very energy you emit when operating from this paradigm repels the wealth you seek. Think of a magnet attempting to attract iron filings while simultaneously emitting the wrong polarity. No matter how strong the magnet, no matter how close the filings, they will scatter rather than attach. This is precisely what happens when you pursue wealth from a mindset of lack, fear, or competition. Your energetic signature repels the very thing you desire. The alternative is not passivity. It is not sitting on a mountaintop visualizing abundance while taking no action. The alternative is acting from certainty rather than desperation. It is moving with purpose rather than anxiety. It is holding your vision so completely that your actions become effortless, expressions of that vision rather than frantic attempts to make something happen. This brings us to perhaps the most misunderstood principle in all of wealth creation: the power of definite vision, not vague wishes, not general desires for more money or financial freedom, but a precise, detailed, emotionally charged mental image of exactly what you intend to have, be, or do. The universe responds to specificity. Thinking substance requires clear instruction. When you hold a vague desire for wealth, you send confused signals into the creative medium. The result is confusion in manifestation. You receive mixed signals back. Opportunities appear but feel wrong. Money comes but doesn't stay. Success arrives but brings no satisfaction. This is not the universe denying you. This is you failing to communicate clearly what you actually want. Wattles insisted on this point with unusual emphasis. You must form a clear mental picture of what you want. You must hold this picture continuously in your mind. You must have faith that this thing is coming to you. And you must express gratitude as though it has already arrived. These are not suggestions. These are the operational steps of the formula. Let us examine each component. First, the clear mental picture. This is not daydreaming. This is precise visualization with emotional intensity. You must see the house you will live in, the work you will do, the lifestyle you will enjoy. Not in generalities, but in vivid detail, the color of the walls, the feeling of the carpet under your feet, the view from your window. The more specific your vision, the more powerfully you impress it upon thinking substance. Second, continuous focus. The mind that flits from desire to desire, from vision to vision, impresses nothing with sufficient force to materialize. You must hold your vision as a constant backdrop to your daily life, not obsessively, not desperately, but with quiet, unwavering certainty that this is your reality in the process of becoming. Third, faith. Here is where most stumble. Faith has been corrupted by religion into something mystical and irrational. But in the context of wealth creation, faith is simply the opposite of doubt. It is the mental posture of certainty. It is thinking and feeling as though your desire is already on its way to you. Faith is not believing despite evidence. Faith is maintaining your vision regardless of current circumstances. This is crucial. Current circumstances are the materialization of past thinking. They have no bearing whatsoever on what you are currently impressing upon thinking substance. To judge your vision by your present reality is to chain yourself eternally to the past. The wealthy understand that present circumstances are irrelevant. What matters is the vision held now and the certainty with which it is held. Fourth, gratitude. This is the most powerful amplifier in the entire formula. Gratitude is not a polite gesture, it is a frequency. It is the energetic signature of abundance. When you feel genuine gratitude for what you desire, as though you already possess it, you align yourself vibrationally with the reality you seek. You become a match to it. And matching frequency is the mechanism by which manifestation occurs. Most people feel grateful only after receiving. This is backward. Gratitude after the fact is merely acknowledgement. Gratitude before manifestation is the magnetic force that draws your desire into physical reality. When you can feel genuine thankfulness for money not yet received, for opportunities not yet presented, for the life not yet lived, you activate the law with maximum force. But gratitude alone, without action, produces nothing. This is where the New Age movement went fatally astray. They emphasized thought and feeling while minimizing action. They turned the law of attraction into passive wishing. Wattles knew better. He insisted that you must act, but not in the way society teaches. You must act in what he called a certain way, not through strain, not through competition, not by taking advantage of others or by forcing circumstances. You must act in harmony with your vision. Every action you take must be an expression of your definite purpose. Every decision must move you toward your mental image. Every opportunity must be evaluated against whether it aligns with where you are going. This is precise, intentional movement. It is not the frantic hustling of the competitive mind. It is the purposeful action of someone who knows exactly where they are going and takes only the steps that lead there. When an opportunity arises that does not serve your vision, you pass it by, even if it promises immediate gain. When an opportunity appears that does align, you move on it with decisiveness, even if it seems risky by conventional standards. The world will call you impractical. It will say you are too selective, too idealistic, too unwilling to compromise. Let it. The competitive mind must operate this way because it sees limited opportunities. The creative mind can afford to be selective because it knows that the universe will provide exactly what is needed, exactly when it is needed. Not before, creating anxiety, not after, creating missed opportunities, exactly when alignment is perfect. This leads to a profound realization about the nature of supply. There is a stream of abundance flowing through the universe at all times. Most people stand beside this stream, cupping their hands, begging for drops. They experience wealth as sporadic, unpredictable, something that must be chased and captured. This is because they position themselves outside the flow. When you align your thinking with the principles we are discussing, something extraordinary happens. You step into the stream. Supply begins to flow to you and through you effortlessly. Money arrives from unexpected sources. Opportunities present themselves without seeking. Resources materialize precisely when needed. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is you finally operating in harmony with the law rather than in opposition to it. But the stream has a requirement. It flows only through those who are giving, growing, and contributing. Thinking substance responds to those who seek not merely to get, but to give. This is not morality. This is mechanics. The universe operates on circulation. Stagnation is death. Flow is life. When your intention is merely to accumulate, to hoard, to extract, you position yourself as a dam blocking the stream. When your intention is to receive in order to give more, to grow in order to contribute more, you become a channel through which abundance flows. This is why the truly wealthy, those operating from the creative mind, often become wealthier the more they give. They understand intuitively what others cannot comprehend. Giving is not loss, it is investment in the stream itself. Every act of generosity, every contribution of value, every expansion of your capacity to serve, these things widen the channel through which supply can flow to you. Now we must address the single greatest obstacle to wealth that exists: the belief in external limitation. You have been taught that wealth depends on the economy, on your education, on who you know, on market conditions, on 1,000 factors outside your control. This belief is the prison that contains you, and it is entirely false. The economy is not a closed system with fixed resources. It is the aggregate manifestation of everyone's thinking. When the masses think scarcity, the economy contracts. When they think abundance, it expands. You are not subject to the economy. You are a contributor to it. And your personal economy, the flow of wealth in your specific life, is determined solely by your alignment with the principles we are discussing. Your education is irrelevant. Some of the wealthiest individuals in history were formerly uneducated. Some of the poorest possess advanced degrees. Education can provide tools, but it cannot provide the consciousness of wealth. That comes only from understanding and applying this law. Your connections matter only if you believe they do. The person aligned with thinking substance will attract the exact people needed at the exact time they are needed. You do not need to network anxiously or manipulate relationships. You need only to hold your vision clearly, and the universe will arrange all necessary connections. Market conditions are immaterial. Fortunes are built in recessions and lost in booms. The external environment provides context, but not causation. Your causation is internal, always. The markets could crash tomorrow, and the person operating from the creative mind would find opportunity where others see disaster. This has been proven repeatedly throughout history. The only limitation that exists is the limitation you accept in your mind. The boundaries of your wealth are the boundaries of your vision and faith. Nothing more, nothing less. When you truly absorb this, when you feel it in your bones rather than merely understanding it intellectually, your entire relationship with money transforms instantly. We have now established the foundation. You understand that wealth is not competed for, but created. You understand that effort without right thinking produces only wages, not abundance. You understand that you must hold a definite vision, maintain unwavering faith, feel genuine gratitude, and act in harmony with your intention. These are not steps in a process. They are simultaneous components of a state of being. But knowledge alone changes nothing. The graveyard is full of people who understood these principles intellectually but never applied them. Application requires something most are unwilling to give: the complete abandonment of old patterns. You cannot operate partially from the creative mind and partially from the competitive mind. You cannot hold your vision on Monday and doubt it on Tuesday. You cannot be grateful in the morning and resentful in the evening. Alignment must be total. This is where we transition from foundation to application. Up to this point, we have been establishing principles, clearing away false beliefs, building the framework of understanding. You now possess the map. But the map is not the territory. Knowing where treasure lies does not make you wealthy. You must journey there. You must dig. You must claim what is yours. What follows now are the advanced applications, the subtle technologies that separate those who merely understand wealth creation from those who master it. These are not for the casual student. They require discipline, consistency, and a willingness to operate contrary to everything society has taught you. Most will hear these principles and nod in agreement, then return to their competitive patterns the moment they close this video. If you are among the few who will actually implement what follows, you stand at the threshold of a life most cannot even imagine. The first advanced principle is this: you must become, in your mind, the person who already possesses what you desire, not pretend, not fake it until you make it. But genuinely assume the consciousness of that version of yourself. This is not delusion. This is operational psychology. Your current self, the one experiencing lack, operates from a particular set of assumptions, beliefs, and habitual thoughts. This self cannot attract wealth because it is fundamentally incompatible with wealth. Its every thought, feeling, and action broadcasts the frequency of scarcity. You cannot manifest abundance from the consciousness of poverty any more than you can tune a radio to one station and expect to hear another. The version of you that is wealthy thinks differently, feels differently, makes different decisions, carries themselves with different energy. This person does not worry about bills because they know money flows freely. They do not hesitate to invest in themselves because they trust in continuous supply. They do not tolerate disrespect because they understand their value. They do not chase opportunities because they know opportunities chase those who are ready. Your task is not to become this person someday. Your task is to become this person now, in your mind, regardless of external circumstances. You must think their thoughts, feel their feelings, make their decisions. And here is what happens when you do this consistently. Reality bends to accommodate your new identity. Opportunities arise that match your new consciousness. People treat you differently. Resources become available. The universe confirms your new state by materializing conditions that match it. This is not theory. This is the most practical advice you will ever receive. But it requires relentless internal discipline. Every time you catch yourself thinking from lack, you must immediately replace it with the thought of abundance. Every time you feel anxiety about money, you must immediately shift to gratitude and certainty. Every time you are tempted to make a decision from fear, you must pause and ask, what would the wealthy version of me do here? Initially, this feels like acting. Your current circumstances seem to contradict the identity you're assuming. This discomfort is where most quit. They cannot sustain the internal posture long enough for external reality to catch up. But those who persist, who maintain their new identity regardless of contradiction, discover something miraculous. The lag time between internal shift and external manifestation shortens. Results appear faster. Synchronicities multiply. The stream of abundance becomes a river. The second advanced principle is the elimination of all thought and talk of poverty, limitation, or scarcity. This sounds simple. It is devastatingly difficult. You have been conditioned to bond with others through shared complaint, to prove your wisdom by pointing out what is wrong, to demonstrate realism by acknowledging limitation. All of this must stop completely. Every word you speak is a creative act. Every complaint about lack reinforces lack. Every acknowledgement of limitation strengthens limitation. Every conversation about how hard things are makes things harder. You are not observing reality when you speak this way. You are creating it. Language is not descriptive. It is generative. The wealthy understand this instinctively. Listen to how they speak. They do not complain about the economy. They discuss opportunity. They do not focus on problems. They focus on solutions. They do not indulge in victim narratives. They claim agency. This is not positive thinking. This is refusing to use creative power against yourself. You must become fanatical about this. Monitor every word. Notice when you are about to complain and choose silence instead. When others around you indulge in scarcity talk, you must either redirect the conversation or remove yourself from it. You cannot afford the luxury of negative thinking or speaking if you are serious about wealth. The universe does not judge your thoughts as positive or negative. It simply manifests what you focus on. Focus on lack, receive lack. Focus on abundance, receive abundance. The mechanism is neutral and precise. The third advanced principle is the conscious use of gratitude as a manifestation accelerator. Earlier we discussed gratitude as a component of the formula. Now we go deeper. Gratitude is not just feeling thankful. It is the single most powerful frequency you can emit. It is the emotional signature of wealth consciousness. Here is how to weaponize it. Each morning, before engaging with the world, spend time feeling genuine gratitude for your vision as though it has already materialized. Not thinking about gratitude, feeling it. Let the emotion wash through your body. See your desired reality in vivid detail and let thankfulness fill you completely. This is not a 5-second exercise. This is 10, 15, 20 minutes of sustained emotional experience. When you do this correctly, something shifts in your nervous system. Your body begins to vibrate at the frequency of abundance. You carry this frequency into your day, and the universe, which is always matching your frequency, begins presenting you with circumstances that confirm it. Grateful people attract more to be grateful for. This is not karma. This is physics. But you must also practice gratitude for present circumstances, especially the ones you want to change. This seems counterintuitive. Why be grateful for poverty if you desire wealth? Because resistance to what is creates energetic blockage. Acceptance and gratitude for present circumstances releases resistance and allows new circumstances to flow in. You are not being grateful for poverty itself. You are being grateful for the lessons it has taught you, the person it has made you, the contrast it has provided that makes you clear about what you truly want. This shift from resistance to appreciation dissolves the energetic dam blocking your abundance. It is one of the most powerful moves you can make. The fourth advanced principle is the practice of acting as if in the physical world. Your internal work must be matched by external congruence. If you claim to be becoming wealthy but your environment screams poverty, you create internal contradiction that weakens your manifestation power. This does not mean spending money you do not have. It means making choices within your current means that align with your vision. If your vision includes living in a beautiful home, make your current space as beautiful as possible. If your vision includes dressing well, acquire fewer but higher quality items. If your vision includes fine dining, experience it occasionally rather than never. You are training your consciousness to feel comfortable with the things you desire. The universe gives you more of what you already have consciousness for. If you live in squalor, thinking someday you will upgrade, someday never comes, because your consciousness remains calibrated to squalor. You must upgrade your environment to the degree possible now, sending the signal that you are ready for more. This is not materialism. This is energetic alignment. Additionally, you must begin moving in circles that reflect your desired reality. If you spend all your time with people who think small, complain constantly, and accept limitation, their consciousness will pull you down regardless of your internal work. You must seek out, even in small ways, exposure to people who think bigger, who are already where you want to be, who normalize the success you seek. This is not about abandoning old friends. It is about intentionally expanding your sphere to include new frequencies. Attend events where successful people gather. Join communities focused on growth. Consume content created by those operating at higher levels. Immerse yourself in the consciousness you wish to embody. Osmosis is real. You become like those you consistently expose yourself to. The fifth advanced principle is the strategic use of invested faith through immediate action on impulse. When you hold your vision clearly and maintain your gratitude and certainty, you will begin receiving impulses, sudden ideas, unexpected urges to contact someone, intuitive nudges to pursue particular opportunities. These are not random. These are thinking substance communicating the next step. The test is this: do you act immediately, or do you hesitate, analyze, and talk yourself out of it? The competitive mind says, wait, gather more information, make sure it is safe, calculate the risks. The creative mind says, this impulse came from alignment with my vision. Therefore, I act on it now with faith that it leads where I need to go. This does not mean acting recklessly. It means acting decisively when your intuition speaks. There is a feeling tone to these impulses that distinguishes them from random thoughts or fears. They feel right. They feel certain. They feel like the next piece of the puzzle clicking into place. When you feel this, you must move. Hesitation is doubt, and doubt dissolves your manifestation power. Those who master wealth creation develop a hair-trigger response to inspired impulse. They do not need to understand the full plan. They do not need guarantees. They simply trust that the impulse came from their alignment with thinking substance, and that following it will lead to the next necessary step. This is how synchronicity multiplies. This is how the impossible becomes routine. The final advanced principle is the understanding that you are not just creating personal wealth, you are becoming a conduit for wealth to flow into the world. The highest expression of this law is when you realize that your enrichment enriches all, that your success creates opportunities for others, that your abundance allows you to give, contribute, and elevate those around you. When you operate from this understanding, something extraordinary happens. The universe removes all limits on what you can receive because it knows you will not hoard it. You become a channel rather than a reservoir, and channels can handle infinite flow because they do not try to contain it. They let it move through them, taking what they need and allowing the rest to continue blessing others. This is the consciousness of the truly wealthy. They do not see money as something to clutch. They see it as energy to direct. They become stewards of abundance, and the universe trusts them with more because it knows they will use it wisely. If you can shift from "I want wealth for me" to "I want wealth so I can contribute meaningfully to the world," you unlock a level of manifestation power that most never access. So here we stand at the end of this transmission. You now possess knowledge that most will live and die without ever encountering. You understand that wealth is not earned through competition, but created through alignment. You understand that your thinking, not your circumstances, determines your financial reality. You understand the formula: definite vision, unwavering faith, genuine gratitude, and harmonious action. But understanding changes nothing. The question is, will you apply this? Will you discipline your mind to think only thoughts of abundance? Will you maintain your vision when circumstances seem to contradict it? Will you feel gratitude before manifestation? Will you act on intuitive impulses with faith? Will you become, starting today, the person who already possesses what you desire? Most will not. Most will nod in agreement, feel momentarily inspired, then return to the competitive mindset the moment they face their bills, their boss, their bank account. They will use their circumstances as justification for their lack, never understanding that their circumstances are the result of past thinking and have no bearing on what they can create from this moment forward. But you are not most people. If you were, you would have stopped watching long ago. You are here because something in you recognizes truth when you hear it. Something in you is ready to abandon the struggle and step into the stream of effortless supply. Something in you knows that you were not born for mediocrity, for survival, for quiet desperation. The law is here. It has always been here. It will always be here. It is operating right now, giving you more of whatever you are focused on, grateful for, and aligned with. The only question is, what will you impress upon it? Will you continue impressing poverty through your thoughts of lack, your words of limitation, your actions of fear? Or will you, starting now, impress abundance through unwavering vision, unshakable faith, and relentless gratitude? The universe is waiting for your answer, not in words, but in consciousness, not in wishes, but in the sustained mental posture you hold. Decide now what that posture will be. Decide now that you will never again accept scarcity as your reality. Decide now that you will operate from the creative mind, regardless of what others think, say, or do. If you do this, if you truly commit to this law with every fiber of your being, you will discover what the wealthy have always known. Money is not the goal. Money is simply the physical manifestation of a consciousness that has aligned itself with the creative force of the universe. And once you achieve that alignment, lack becomes impossible. Not unlikely, not difficult, impossible. This is the law. Understand it, and you will never lack money again. Don't forget to give a like or a hype and subscribe to the channel. Watch the next video to complete everything you just learned.